Welcome to this episode of Outsiders, where in just about 5 minutes we give you the information, tips, and examples you need to be an effective outsider, a disciple who makes a difference outside the church's walls. In this video, I want to talk to you about the church's 4 roles outside its walls. Now, most church leaders and Christians that I meet are pretty clear and pretty confident about their role inside their church, or at least inside the Christian bubble. Most churches have a mission statement, and they have clear processes to take a person from a convert all the way through to a devoted follower of Jesus. Some churches even have a procedure for having a birthday party in the fellowship hall. And most Christians are pretty comfortable within the church as well. They know what to wear, what to say, and how to act. But in my experience as a minister, as an attorney, and as an advocate for Christian ideas in public life, I've noticed that many church leaders and Christians are not as clear and not as confident about their role outside of the church's walls. And this raises a great question. Well, what exactly is the role of the church in an increasingly pluralistic Western democracy? And stated more practically, what is the role of a church in its community? What is the role of your church in your community? And it seems like there are differing answers to that question. Secular voices tell us to live out our faith in our homes, our hearts, our schools, and our pews. Some Christians say, well, let's re-engage in public life and try to create a Christian utopia. Others will say we're facing a spiritual winter. We should grow deep roots and adopt a monastic approach. We can't even agree on the biblical analogy or illustration for what a church should be in its community. I mean, are we like the Jews in Babylon, or are we like Nehemiah returning to build the walls? Long story short, we really need to nail down the church's role outside its walls. We live in a time of mega change that presents amazing opportunities, but also some significant challenges to the gospel preaching church. So we need to nail down our role outside the church's walls. From my review of Scripture, the church has 4 roles in its community. Let's jump right in. The first one is to be the light. Matthew 28:16 through 20. The church has one priority, and that is to fulfill the Great Commission. But it should actually fulfill the whole Great Commission. Jesus tells us to teach them all things I have commanded you in Matthew chapter number 28. Here's the paraphrase. Because we have Christ's power and Christ's presence, we should go teach everyone, everywhere, everything that Christ has commanded us. So we shouldn't just be making converts. We should be making disciples who actually go out and make a difference in their community. That's being the light. Number 2, the church is supposed to be the heart of its community. Matthew 5:16. We should deeply care about the deepest spiritual, physical, emotional, and even economic problems in our community. And then we should be making a significant difference in the life of our city around those deepest problems. That's being the heart of a community. Number 3, the church should be a community's conscience. Now, people can find a good lecture, they can find great music, and they can probably find some sense of community elsewhere. But what they cannot find anywhere else in their community is an accurate moral compass. I love what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said about this issue. He says that churches shouldn't be a thermometer. They shouldn't be taking the moral sense or temperature of the community around them, that they should actually be a thermostat. They should be setting that moral temperature. That's being the salt. That's being the conscience of a community. Finally, a church should be the guide. Should be its community's guide to a purposeful, bright future. We as humans, we're taunting death. We're exploring the stars. We're conquering disease. But in the few quiet moments we have left, we can't exactly put our finger on why that's significant. The church can provide to advanced modernity, to people around us, it's why. Their why. Why this is significant. I think often of St. Augustine. It's said of him that when Rome fell, that he was no spectator of the crisis, but more than any emperor or barbarian or warlord, he created a bridge from the old world to the new. And we as churches, we believe the gospel changes everything. Well, that's not just true for us individually, but also for our communities. So those are the four roles of a church. Church should be it's the light of its community, its heart, its conscience, and its guide. And we should live those out every day, everywhere. Those are the four roles of a church.